Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. This is part 2 of the fall recipes. Last week we did the butternut squash with brown butter sage, and then this week I had time to edit the rest and we're showing you how to make the perfectly crispy, juicy chicken. It is started with searing it in the cast iron and then you finish it in the oven. And this is such a simple method to use that leads to outstanding results. So without further ado, let's get cooking.
So all we're doing is starting with 2 chicken quarters. So these have the leg and the thigh bone in them. And first I'm just going to trim off some of the extraneous skin and fat to make them a little more uniform. And then now we're going to French trim or semi-French trim these drumsticks. All that is cutting around the circumference of the lower end of the leg where there's extra skin and some tendons, and just pulling away that skin and some of the tendons. You can see them there. And then you can pull off that bottom piece of meat if you want for presentation purposes, but I just kind of kept it simple and left it on. And this is really going to make it a lot easier to handle and hold. Alright, so now that we've got the extra skin and fat trimmed off and those trimmed up, I'm just going to start throwing some seasonings on. So I'm keeping this really basic with salt, some fresh ground pepper, and then I'm going to add a little bit of kind of those fall flavorings that'll help it kind of crisp up and roast, with some paprika and some nutmeg. And then feel free to coat with however much you want. You can kind of use my visual as a guide. The most important thing is really the salt. You want to make sure it's well salted. And then all we're going to do is mix this into the chicken, make sure it's all well massaged in there, covering both sides. And I'm going to let this sit about 5-10 minutes to come up to temperature before we throw it in the pan. And then here I have a cast iron. Make sure you're using a cast iron or some pan that you can throw in the oven, or else you won't be able to do the recipe this way. Get a high smoke point oil. I have ghee. If you don't have ghee, use something like vegetable oil. And then I'm putting this skin side down, and we're going to cook this skin side down for about 11 to 12 minutes. So let's start a time lapse. And here we are about halfway through. Wanted to give you a quick look. Don't try to lift up the chicken too much, maybe once or twice. Let's resume the rest of the cooking time. All right, and here you can see this is after about 12 minutes, really crispy. The fat has started to render. All I'm going to do is throw this in a preheated oven at 475 degrees. And this is after 12 minutes in the oven. You can see it's cooked, and then all we're going to do is flip this over and let it cook for another 5 minutes. And then I'll put all the instructions on screen right now, so pause if you need to take a look at those. Let this rest for about 5 minutes in the pan before cutting into it, and take a look at this chicken. Super crispy on the outside, all that fat rendered out of the skin and left this nice crispy texture. And then when we actually go cut inside this thing, it's unbelievable how juicy it is. Then all I'm going to do is just cut that into a piece, show you guys the cross section. You can see that perfectly cooked meat all the way through, juicy and crispy on the outside. Just look at the juices that run off when I take a bite. It's unreal how good this was. It's been a while since I've had roasted chicken, so this was a perfect fall meal. As always, let's run through nutrition and price. 568 calories, 56 grams protein, 0 carbs, 36 grams fats, and the price is $165, and that's for a chicken quarter consisting of a leg and a thigh. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know, and please leave a like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one.